Hello, everybody. This is card guy Chris Ellis.
And Collectible Chris, and we'll be talking about the NFC South along with our top five favorite college rivalries, our Week 7 predictions, and of course, like we always start off with, after a very upsetting Week 6 predictions with our card players of the week. So, who's your player of the week?
Let's see um, for the offensive player of the week, I'm going to give it to Matt Ryan. He was 42 of 58, 389, 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. I mean, he had a good game against the Jaguars, so I mean, that's who I'm going to give that one to. Who are you giving?
I'm going to give it to the game of the week, to my pick of the game of the week, and I think he had a better showing now. No complaint to Ryan. Ryan did amazing. Josh Allen went 27 for 40 with 329 yards, 3 TDs, and 0 interceptions with the Chiefs. I just think that's a bit of a more impressive game, especially on a tougher opponent, honestly. But, I mean, Matt Ryan was statistically a great pick. Rookie of the week, who are you going with rookie?
I am going to go, of course, with Breece Hall. He was 20 attempts, 116 yards, 1 TD. He had 2 catches for 5. So,
and that's also my rookie of the week as well. Breece Hall, again, our rookie of the week pick for the third straight week. Just having a great rookie season. Defensive player of the week.
I'm going to go with Harrison Smith of the Vikings. He had 6 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and an interception. So he had a good game. So
okay, I'm actually going to do a whole thing from left field. I'm going to choose someone for the Commanders. I am picking Jonathan Allen as my defensive player of the week with 4 tackles, 1 sack, and the 1 important interception to end the game.
Yeah, I mean, my honorable mention would be Myles Garrett, who had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble.
Oh, yeah.
He broke Clay Matthews' all-time sack record for Browns. So that'd be my honorable mention there for Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett did have a great game. So
yep.
And congrats to Myles Garrett having the Brown record. So
yep.
And will continue to play. He's still pretty young. So all right. So NFC South. You want to start off with the Saints?
Yeah, we start with the Saints.
All right, Saints. I really don't collect Saints as much. The only active player I really collect right now is Mark Ingram. Legends, of course, I collect Archie Manning because of the Manning family. People should collect Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. Chris Olave is a good rookie to get right now. Drew Brees, of course. Marshawn Lattimore is a great defensive player. If you are looking for like older Saint players to actually collect, Joe Horn has several relic cards that's affordable right now. Jimmy Graham, one of the best tight ends the Saints has ever had. Unfortunately, of course, he got traded and then sunk. And, of course, before there was Michael Thomas, there was Marquise Colston, who led the Saints in receiving yards, passing Joe Horn. So, Marquise Colston also a big one to collect. Anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I collect Mark Ingram too. So, I mean, but older players, Morton Anderson, one of the greatest kickers in NFL history. Sam Mills, who just recently got inducted in the Hall of Fame, finally. Ricky Jackson, who is in the Hall of Fame, also played for the 49ers. And Pat Swilling, who also was a good Saints player. So, yeah.
Well, you also collect a former Texan, don't you? Well, Longhorn, I should say.
Oh, you mean Kenny Vaccaro?
No, I was thinking of Ricky Williams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ricky. Yeah, of course. Ricky. I mean, I kind of think of more now as a Dolphin than I do at Saint. But
oh, okay, fair.
Yeah, fair. But yeah. I mean, yeah, Ricky has always been one that I collected. So
yeah, I just want to make sure that name was thrown out there. All right, next one, Atlanta.
Yeah, we'll go Atlanta.
All right, Falcons. Only players I collect is Kyle Pitts, and believe it or not, ever since his rookie year, I have collected Marcus Mariota. People should still collect Drake London, just a great rookie as well. Older players, if you are a Matt Ryan fan, you can collect Matt Ryan. That's your choice. Michael Vick, of course, even though most people remember him as an Eagle more than a Falcon, it's like Brett Favre being drafted by the Falcons, and then he was then traded to Green Bay. So, but and now, if you want to collect players that did well, of course, Vic Beasley would be a good defensive pickup as well. Short career, unfortunately, due to injury.
For the Falcons, for the older guys, I mean, Deion Sanders, of course.
Right.
Bob Freilich, who was a great offensive lineman. Andre Rison.
Yeah.
Gerald Riggs, who was a great running back in the 80s for him.
Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, you got Tony. You got Jamal Anderson. You got
Roddy White. I also collect Roddy White.
Roddy White's another one. I mean, Michael Vick.
Even though he's with the Bucks now, Julio Jones.
Yep. So there's several Falcons out there that you can definitely collect.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what are we going with next?
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Okay.
With the Bucks, unfortunately, I do not collect anyone that's currently active. I collect legends, Derrick Brooks, Warren Sapp. I also collect Trent Dilfer just because of I like the way he played. Of course, people should still collect Tom Brady. It's still marketable till this day. Mike Evans, one of the best receivers out there. Julio Jones, of course, now being with the Bucks. Leonard Fournette his stock is rising up, and you can still get his rookie card pretty affordable right now. So, anyone else added?
Of course, Brooks. Brooks is now all stott. Warren Sapp, work done. Doug Williams, Steve Young, Steve DeBerg, Mark Carrier, who is a wide receiver, pretty good wide receiver in the late 80s, early 90s. Let's see who else. I think Aqib Talib was on the Bucks at one point.
He was Leonte David, a good linebacker to collect.
Villa is good. So there's some good Bucks out there that that you definitely can collect. Now we're going to next.
The Carolina Panthers.
Oh yes.
Panthers. The only cards I'm really collecting currently, I'm still chasing a particular McCaffrey rookie card right now. I'm still trying to get a graded one. I've been close several times, but of course, last minute outbids. But older wise, I still collect Steve Smith Sr., Greg Olson, and of course, one of my favorite old time defensive players, Kevin Green. People should still collect Baker Mayfield, DJ Moore, of course. Anyone to add on the Carolina?
Sam Mills, Kerry Collins, Julius Peppers.
Oh yeah, Julius. I forgot about Julius.
Luke Kuechly.
Luke.
Let's see who else from that team.
Muhammad Wide.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to collect Cam Newton rookie cards and his early cards over at Carolina, that's fine too. Jonathan Stewart rookies.
Yeah, you got Stewart and you got D'Angelo.
D'Angelo Williams, yeah.
You also have trying to think of the other wide receiver. Mark Carrier also played for the Panthers. Barry Foster from when they started.
Just because he played, I mentioned him when we did the Chargers, but I'll mention him again because he had a good time with Carolina. Mike Tolbert.
Yep, Tolbert was another good one. So there's several Carolina ones that you can definitely, collect and get. So.
Even though he was overrated, Josh Norman.
Oh, and Greg Olson too.
I mentioned Greg earlier. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there were definitely good Carolina Panthers ones.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yep.
All right, so we want to do our top 5 college football rivalries.
Or you want to do the picks, or you want to do the rivalries?
We can do the picks next. Week 7.
Week Week 7 picks.
All right, and for our Week 6 predictions, as long as the Chargers win tonight, Dad will be at 500. I'm gonna have a losing record right now. I'm at 4-9, which is really disappointing with all the dang comebacks. Congrats to Mitch though with the good drive and getting the touchdown to beat the Bucks. So
yeah, Mitch Trubisky had a good, pretty good showing coming back, so that's good.
Yep. All right, so Thursday night football for Week 7, Saints versus Cardinals in Arizona.
Ooh, this should be a good game. Hopefully, not boring. Wow, I wasn't really impressed with the Cardinals yesterday or the Saints. You know what? Since it's at home, I'll go with the Cardinals.
You're going with the Cardinals. I'm going with the Saints because of the running game. Cardinals have a decent running game now. It's just not as great, and I just think I trust the Saints defense more than the Cardinals right now.
Yeah. No.
All right. Packers versus Commanders in Washington.
I'm going to go with Green Bay on that one. I don't think they can have 3 games in a row that bad.
Yeah, same here. I'm going with Green Bay. Commanders just had a fluke win, honestly, from last week. Browns versus Ravens in Baltimore.
Ravens.
I'm going with the Ravens, too, at home. Both teams losing, but Ravens will come back. Bucks versus Panthers in Carolina.
Go with Bucks.
You're going with the Bucks. I'm going with the Bucks, too, just because Brady is going to be ticked off and he's going to go out. Now, Falcons versus Bengals in Cincinnati.
I'm going Bengals.
You're going Bengals. I'm actually going with Atlanta the way Marcus played. He played smart, played really great football against the Niners. Lions versus Cowboys in Dallas.
Cowboys.
I'm going with the Cowboys too. Bear defense. Giants versus Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Ooh.
That is actually going to be my game of the week.
I think I'm going to go with the Giants, but I think that could be a toss-up game.
Oh, yeah, same here. Jaguars are really playing well this year. I'm going with the Giants due to the fact that Saquon is being Saquon again. And
yeah, he is healthy.
The Giants' defense is top 5 defense right now. So
yeah.
I'm going with the Giants. This is going to be an interesting game. Colts versus Titans in Tennessee.
I'm going Colts.
You're going with the Colts?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Colts on that one.
Every single time I pick against him, he's winning. So if the Colts win because of me picking them against them, I'm going to keep on picking against them. I'm going with Titans, but I'm going to go with Titans because of Derrick Henry. So.
Well, I figured the run game.
Well, Taylor.
But they did really good with how. So you got Texans, Raiders.
Yeah, Texans, Raiders next, and Las Vegas.
I'm gonna go with Raiders.
You're going with the Raiders. I'm going with the Texans just because I think they are just getting better, and I think this is gonna be one of those games. So Jets versus Broncos in Denver.
I'm going Jets. I think Jets are playing really good football, so I'm gonna go with.
Wilson's been really impressive, so I'm going with the Jets too. Chiefs versus Niners.
Wow. I'm going Niners in that game just because it's in San Francisco. I think their defense will be really good. I don't think.
You don't think they'll do as bad as they did against Mariota?
I mean, it was kind of weird how that game went with Atlanta and San Fran. So, but yeah.
I'm going with the Chiefs. I just think Mahomes has the ability to run over that defense. As long as the Niners front forward do what they do, then they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Seahawks versus Chargers.
I'm going Chargers.
Even
though the Seahawks are playing one heck of football right now, but
I'm going with the Seahawks just because I think the Chargers just don't have it figured out right now, and Geno being in Seattle is like the best fit right now. So
yeah.
The next game will be the Sunday night game, and I think it's going to be the most boring. Steelers versus Dolphins.
Well, that might not be boring because we might have a quarterback back.
Yeah, true.
So I'm going to go with the Dolphins on that one.
All right, so Tua is supposed to be back?
It's supposed to be. We don't know yet, but he's cleared. So.
Well, Bridgewater did have a good game.
Oh, yeah.
Over 200 yards passing, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. So he's doing what he usually does. I'm going with the Dolphins just because it's at home. I think the Steelers, I still don't know who their dang quarterback is. So
Yeah, right now they might not know
yeah,
because of how it went yesterday. But
yep.
I mean, Pickett's not done bad. So I mean,
I mean, he's a rookie.
anyway,
He needs room to develop. All right, Bears versus Pats in New England.
I'm going Pats.
I'm going Pats too. They've just done well the last two games. They finally figured it out.
All right. All right, our college rivalries. I got a couple. I got like three honorable mentions, but I also mentioned the longest running rivalry in college football. So, which is Lafayette versus Lehigh.
Oh, okay.
They've been playing since 1884.
Okay.
So that is an honorable mention on that one.
Okay. You want to just do your top three honorable mentions then?
Yeah, I'll go in from least to greatest. Miami, Florida State. They play for the Florida Cup. They've played a total of 66 times. Miami, actually, this is like the closest. One of the actually is the closest rivalry out of all the ones that are on my list. At Miami at 35, 31, and 0. Next one I have is they've played 89 times. It's UCLA and USC. USC owns that 49, 33, and 7.
Okay.
And then my next one is 107, and it's UNC versus Duke for the Victory Bell. They are 62, 41, and 4.
Okay.
UNC is in that rivalry. So.
All right. My honorable mentions from least to great. USM versus Rice. I went to a USM versus Rice game my junior year. One of the best experiences I've had with a college football game. And that was the one that Nick Mullins beat past Brett Favre's single game passing record. So
Nice one.
my second one, Florida State versus Florida. One of the best Florida rivalries. I mean, Miami and Florida State is a great one too. Florida State and Florida always goes back and forth, especially ACC against SEC.
Yep.
And
I almost put that one on there.
And my other one is going to be Alabama versus LSU, mainly because since we're in southern Mississippi and when Bama and LSU always happen, so we are always asked, hey, who are you going for? I don't like either one, but if I gotta choose one, I'm choosing the one that I know is going to win. Roll Tide.
All right. You want to go from I'm going to go from the least, but I have my number one all time rivalry.
Yeah.
As number one, but every other one is just.
Well, let's go from 5 to 1.
Okay, so I'm going to go start with the least numbers played. Then it'll make sense.
Okay.
They played 86 times. They're also known as the Iron Bowl. They started playing in 1893. It's Alabama and Auburn. And Bama is 48, 37, and 1 in that series. So
I should probably have done the records too, huh?
That's all right. No, it's cool. It's cool. Okay. It's just, I mean, I just put it there just to see who had the all-time.
Okay.
You talk about how the bowl is,
Right. Number 5 for me is USC versus Oregon. I always like that matchup. It's always been great, especially when Matt Barkley was there, especially when Mariota with Oregon. So, and it's always been an offensive game, offensive shootout. So, USC and Oregon is my number 5.
All right. At 4, because I'm not in the 2 through 5 are not in particular order. I'm just doing it by how many games have been played. These two have played 89 times. These two, as rivals, have had the most players drafted into the NFL. There's like 1,000 plus players.
Wow.
They have played 89 times. They play for the Jules Shillelagh. It's the Notre Dame USC game.
Yeah.
They started playing in 1926. Notre Dame has a winning record of 48, 36, and 5. So that is my next one. Who's your next one?
Number 4 for me is going to be Michigan versus Ohio State. Always a great rivalry game, especially when it comes down to the wire. Usually one of the last rivalry games to be played toward the end of the year, especially during playoff times now, one of the best games as well. You can make a case between Michigan and Michigan State, which is another great rivalry. But to me, when it comes down to the wire and down to the polls, Michigan and Ohio State.
All right. My next one has played 116 times. It is called The Game. They started playing this game in 1897. Ohio State versus Michigan. Michigan is 59-51-6. So, yeah, the Ohio State-Michigan game is usually for Big Ten championship implications. They play it at the end of the regular season for both of them. So, it's always a top game. So, we'll go with that one. So, who you got?
Number 2. Go Army beat Navy. The Army-Navy game. One of the best defensive games, and will always have a player that always surprises you every single time. I always enjoy watching the game, especially when I got really into college football, and we always watch Army versus Navy. So one of my favorite traditions and one of my favorite games to watch. And so Army versus Navy for my number 2.
All right, for this bowl game, they've played 118 times. They started playing this in 1900. It's also known as the Red River Shootout or the Red River Showdown. Texas, Oklahoma. Texas actually leads this series 63-50-5. It's probably for just living in both Texas and Oklahoma, you see how much hatred there is for both,
yes.
both sides.
Yes.
So, you just got, I mean, it's just one of those things that you just look at, it's a great rivalry. So just, it's one of those things that will always, some great players have played in it, some great individual statistics, and great, I mean, you look at it, the Cotton Bowl, and just where it's at, even though it's played in Texas, it's not always, it's really not home field advantage for either team because, I mean, it's just a wild game.
Oh, yeah.
So who you got it?
Who I got as my number 2, Texas versus Oklahoma. So Texas, Oklahoma, and Army and Navy will always switch for me because, I mean, they're always great games. And like you said, living in you lived in Texas, I mainly lived in Oklahoma, but knowing the hatred between both fans, yeah, I understand. Always a great game, though.
And the only one I put at number 1, because you can interchange, for me, the top 4 in any way you want to, is they've played 122 times. This usually marks the end of the college regular season due to the fact that the Heisman Trophy is usually on that night. And it's the Army-Navy game, period. They've been playing since 1890. This game means more than just, regular football. Most of these guys, they're going into the service, going to get drafted, and going to play for a bigger team than what they are playing for now. Navy leads the all-time series at 62-53-7. I think one of the greatest football players ever play is probably Roger Staubach. He won the Heisman Trophy, last person to win the Heisman Trophy for a cadet school, and went on to have a Hall of Fame career. So the Army-Navy game is my
number 1 is gonna be the Battle of the Carolinas. And it's not UNC and Duke. I always want UNC to beat Duke, but when it comes to North Carolina pride, UNC versus NC State. Always been a great game. My favorite one was the one back in 2012. UNC won 38-35 with Giovanni Bernard with the 3 TDs and rushed for 147 yards. Mm-hmm. That was one of the best games I watched, and ever since then I've always said it's not State and Miami, it's NC State and UNC as the best rivalry, closest games in the ACC, and especially now them being ranked, I think it proves my point.
Yeah, the battle in Carolina, if you ever lived in Carolina or been to Carolina, I mean, it's pretty wild and everything. So, I mean, as bowl games, I mean, there's so many rivalry games that not every game is number 1. See, wearing my Army jersey just because. Um, but
And of course, us being Mississippi, of course, it's the state Ole Miss
yeah,
game. But when it comes to Bama LSU, everyone goes crazy in Mississippi for that game.
yeah. So you got to look at it as everybody has their own favorite rivalries due to the fact of where they live and where they've lived. So I mean, I could have easily put Washington and Washington State down.
Ooh.
I could have put Oregon and Washington. I could have put. I mean,
You could have done El Paso and
I could have done UTEP and New Mexico State. I could have done, A&M and Texas, which hasn't played in a couple of years, but they're rivalry games. OSU and Oklahoma.
oh yeah,
Oklahoma State and Oklahoma you could easily put. I mean, Georgia, you can put Georgia and Georgia Tech. I mean, the rivalry question, everybody's going to have their own, but, I think due to, like, everything, it's just how it's going to be.
it's like the GOAT conversation. I mean, everyone is gonna have a different answer. There's really not a right answer when it comes to like the best rivalry, the greatest rivalry, and that's because of geographic location, time/era of you watching, playing, whatever. So it really depends. I mean, you'll be surprised. The reason why we do top 5 and honorable mentions is because they'll intersect. I mean, we had Texas, Oklahoma, Michigan, Ohio State, and I didn't know he'll have Michigan and Ohio State on his list. I knew Army Navy would be on the list, but I mean, you talk to anyone, especially with the GOAT conversation in freaking basketball, people will either say LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, and that conversation really needs to get away. I would say have a more of a Mount Rushmore than the GOAT, really.
Yep. So, yep, that's our rivalry. What do you want to do next time?
Next week we can do college-wise. How about we do our top 5 favorite college players?
Okay.
We'll talk about our top 5 college players with 3 honorable mentions.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. That'll be awesome. All right, so next week we'll talk about the very last division with the NFC West, and we're also going to do our predictions for Week 8. So we're getting close to the halfway mark, and probably the week after we'll talk about what we see in the divisions and how they're going to play out with the episode after that.
Yep. Well, we can do that. Our mid-season awards and all that. Well, not yet. Oh, no, we probably could.
Oh, we probably could. Not the next episode, but the one after.
Yep, we probably could. So that is it?
Yep.
All right.
Oh, congratulations. I'm going to hate saying this. Congratulations to the Phillies and the Padres for making the NLCS. Phillies, I had a great series against the Braves.
Yeah.
The Braves pitching, unfortunately, went downhill right after Game 2, but the Phillies had a showing out. Padres, thank you for beating LA. I cannot believe I'm saying that because I want Kershaw to win another ring, but Padres did amazing. I cannot disrespect them any less, and it'll be the first time in a while for both teams to actually make it to the World Series. So happy for both teams. And the AL Astros beat the Mariners, didn't they?
Yep. And the ninth game, Yankees versus Guardians.
Guardians for the final game in that division. So
it's gonna be interesting.
Yankees. Judge, win. Judge, hit a home run, please. Okay.
Yep. So, also, if you guys don't, Clee Gaming and Roflo have now a fantasy show. You can catch it on Facebook. Give it a good look at, and we'll talk to you later. And this is Chris Ellis Card Guy and Chris Ellis Card Guy on Facebook, and this is
Collegible Chris on TikTok.
And everybody have a great day, and we'll be talking to you later. Bye.